Hey guys, so the RAV4 power trunk has a really annoying feature. Basically, if the car is locked and you push this button, you'll get a notification that says, please unlock all the doors to operate the power trunk. Sometimes I just want to open up the trunk regardless of whether or not the car is locked or not. You see, the other day, I was dropping a girl off at the airport and I left the car in gear. This is important because if you shift the car into park, then the doors automatically unlock. But what's more important is that there was a girl. I thought it would be a good idea to impress her by opening up the trunk without having to get out of the car. So I pushed the button, held it for 2 or 3 seconds, and nothing happened. Turns out I needed to unlock the car in order to open the trunk. At this point, she was knocking on the glass and pointing to the trunk. Here I'm sitting thinking, wow, what a poor design. You see, an improvement would have been press and hold the trunk button to open, regardless of whether or not the car is locked. If you wanted to open the trunk while the car is unlocked, then a short press would do just that. To me, pushing and holding shows intention, and so you should let the driver do what he wants. Which reminds me of another issue. See, a lot of models, such as the Toyota Venza or the Toyota Crown, all have a lock and close button in the trunk. And while I was car shopping at the time, I didn't think too much of it. But then when you look around, several of the major competitors had some kind of lock and close for the trunk. The Mazda CX-50 Hybrid has a lock and close button. The Subaru Forester has a lock and close button as well. And although the Honda CR-V doesn't have a lock and close, it does have a lock and walk away, which to me is better than the lock and close function. If Toyota's goal was to save money by using only one button, then they could have implemented something like what the Honda did. Or they could have done something where you push the button quickly to close, and you press and hold the button to close and lock. Right now, you can push the button to close, but if you long press it, then the car beeps at you and does nothing else. So now you're left with 2 workarounds. One is to pre-lock the car and then push the trunk close button. Or you can push the trunk close button, wait for the trunk to close, and then lock it using the second button on the trunk. Neither of these options are really good because the other day I ran into an issue where I needed to use my storage tote. The storage tote is pretty big and it requires 2 hands to operate. And so what I had to do was walk over to my driver's side door, hit the lock button, walk back to the trunk, push the close button, and while the door is closing, take out my storage tote. This is a huge inconvenience, and it's just so that Toyota could save a few pennies on an additional button. Although this feature isn't a deal breaker, if I knew about this earlier, then it is enough to sway me from one car to the other. At least the trunk button works for closing, so I don't have to get out of the car to close the trunk.